am an environmental fellow with the Franciscan Action Network. We are one of the justice and advocacy branches of the Franciscan family. And our work encompasses peacemaking, care for creation, poverty, and human rights, all of which are under attack as a result of the Trump administration's proposed EPA budget. Franciscan spirituality is deeply rooted in a call to care for the earth. We are led by the words and actions of St. Francis of Assisi, who believe that God is reflected in all of creation. We recognize the responsibility that we all have to be caretakers of this planet and its inhabitants. Administrator Pruitt's decision to defend this budget is a stark reminder of the resistance that we face in living out this calling. As others have said who have come before me, the federal budget is not just an economic document, it is a statement on the moral compass of our nation. As such, it should reflect our highest calling to take care of the most vulnerable and support a just, equitable society. Without full funding of the EPA, its policies, and its supplemental branches, our ability to protect the most critical natural resources will be significantly diminished. We risk moving towards even greater instability at a time when the climate is already in crisis and so many are struggling to meet their basic needs. Although environmental leadership on Capitol Hill leaves much to be desired, to say the least, we are fortunate to have a powerful voice in Pope Francis. This week marks the 2-year anniversary of the release of his encyclical Laudato Si, which many of you may be familiar with, also known as Care for Our Common Home, which makes explicit what he believes we are called to do as people of faith and as citizens of this earth. And that is, we are called to be protectors, not destroyers. We are called to lift our brothers and sisters out of poverty, not entrench them further in it. We are called to recognize that climate change and environmental degradation disproportionately affect the most vulnerable among us, and insist that those communities are not left behind. And we are called to speak out loudly when our political leaders are making morally corrupt decisions that impact our collective well-being. Climate change is an undeniable reality. As the world's wealthiest nation and one of the largest contributors of carbon emissions, the United States has a clear responsibility to lead by example. Making drastic cuts to the EPA reveals a deep disregard for this responsibility. As people of faith, we call on Administrator Pruitt and the Trump administration as a whole to fully fund the EPA. We must ensure that all Americans have clean air to breathe and clean water to drink, and that we repay the ecological debt that we owe to the rest of the world. To do otherwise is an affront to God, our earth, and each and every human being.